All right, so physical science, I have my assignment 6.3 speed calculations practice here in Notability on my iPad. And I wanted to show you a couple of useful things to notice when you're working on doing calculation problems or really any type of problem solving on your iPad. And the thing that I want to start by pointing out before we get into solving this first problem is that there's this little plus button here on your iPad. So I'm currently in the writing tool. And I'm going to click on this little plus button, and this is like the best thing for working on problems on your iPad, because what it does is gives you this little pane of zooming in that you can write in. So I can write hello woohoo, inside this little pane and move it around, and as I move it you can see that my view moves. And I really find this very, very helpful so that I can be writing in one spot while still being able to see my whole screen of my paper, or the thing you're writing on. So I find this really, really helpful. You can also change what tool you're using right here in the box, and there's this little shaded area that if I get to the end of it, so if I'm writing along and I get to the end here, it actually moves the box over automatically, so that I can keep writing, and it gets to the end and moves the box over, which is kind of convenient. I don't need to do that right now, so I'm going to undo it. But this is really, really helpful. You can just close it by dragging it down and out of the way, and then reopen it whenever you need to. So I'm going to start off by working on this first problem, and I'm going to actually do a little bit of highlighting as I read through the problem so that I can keep track of what information I know. So it says Kali drives home from college at an average speed of 55 kilometers per hour. So that's something important that I want to make sure I notice. And then it says Kali's college is 325 kilometers, that seems important, from St. Paul. How long does it take Kali to drive home? Okay, so we've already helped you start setting this up. And so you've maybe noticed that my 55 kilometers per hour, I already wrote down here as the speed. And my 325 kilometers is already written down as the distance. So those are already things we know. And then time is blank. And that's because if I look at the other part I highlighted, it says how long does it take Kali to drive home. So I'm going to use my little zoom in panel, move that over to time, and that's what we don't know and we are trying to find out. So I'm adding a little question mark there. Then I need to decide what equation I'm using, and notice that you have all of your equations up here, and so you can look at those, and I have written it down already for you as time equals distance over speed. So it's already set up because we want to find the time. So that tells us we should use the time equation. Then I also already have our work written here. Let's say you didn't want to have it quite so zoomed in. You can actually change the size of the little zoom in box by dragging down on the corner right here and changing the size of it. I like it to be kind of like the same size as the box, but that's whatever works for you. So I have that here, 325 km divided by 55 km per hour. So that's the distance Kali has traveled divided by the speed that she's traveling at. And so then I'm going to go ahead and calculate. So to calculate, I actually want to bring up a calculator app. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to swipe up gently from the bottom of my iPad. And I have my favorite calculator app. It's called MyScript. You can find it in self-service if you like it as well. I have that in my little favorite apps here. And you could do this as a split screen, but I don't need my calculator all the time. So I'm actually going to grab my calculator app, just like I might if I were using split screen. You'd bring it all the way over to the side. But I'm just going to drop it here sort of in the middle of the screen. So I have my calculator app here, and the reason I like this calculator app is that I just have to write the numbers, 325 divided by 55, and then it recognizes my script as numbers and tells me my answer. So I think this is really a very cool app to use. So then I can go ahead and write my answer. I don't need my calculator app anymore, though maybe I should write my answer before getting rid of it. So it's 5.9. I'm going to round to just one decimal place. I'm going to tuck my calculator app away. Go away, calculator. I have my final answer here, and then that last step is adding on our final units. And so to decide that, I'm going to look back at my speed units, which are in kilometers per hour. So that means any distance we use needs to be in kilometers, and any time will end up being in hours. So we can tell that it took Cao-Li 5.9 hours to drive back to her college. Oh, to drive back to St. Paul. Okay, so pretty great. Let's do one more together. And I'm going to do number 2. So Adnan can run at a speed of 7 meters per second. So I'm going to highlight that. How far will he run in 90 seconds? So again, I've already used these things to recognize my speed, my time, and distance. Again, I'm going to use my little zoom in tool. Is the thing we don't know. So I'm going to write that down as my unknown. I've already chosen the equation distance equals speed times time. Again, if I hadn't already chosen that, I might go ahead and look back up at my equations, recognizing that, oh, I'm trying to find distance, so I need an equation that has distance equals. That's going to be right here. So it's always feel free to go back up and check on which equation it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and show my work. So distance equals speed times time. So I'm going to look at my speed. That's going to be 7. Oop, that's in highlighter, Ms. Gans. That's going to be 7 meters per second. And then I'm going to times it by the time, 90 seconds. And I'm going to get my answer. I can't do that math in my head, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my calculator, bring that up over here. Can you make it be small? I don't know if you can make it be small. If you can make it be small and on the side, you let me know, because I don't know how to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and type 77 times 90. I double check when I use this calculator app that it actually recognize the numbers, and I get 630. So 630. I get rid of my calculator. That's our distance. And now we got to do step 5. What are those units? So I look back at the speed units. Speed is 7 meters per second. So that means our distance should be in meters and our time was in seconds. So since my answer is a distance, it's going to have units, meters. And I'm going to go ahead and add those on there. So give these a try. You have 6 more to try on your own. You can copy what I've done for number 1 and 2, or you can take some time to think through it yourself. Either one is okay. And let your teacher know if you have any questions. Good luck, physical science.